All right, we are 5 minutes in. We will go ahead and start with tonight's meeting. I want to welcome you again officially to the December virtual community meeting for Pittsburgh Yards. I am Walter Slaton with Stream Realty, representing both property management as well as leasing here at Pittsburgh Yards. And I also want to introduce our newest member, Miss Michelle Jones. She recently started with us as well in the role of community manager. Michelle, say hello,
Hello.
hello, or reintroduce yourself to those that don't know you, and hello to those that do know you.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be a part of Stream Realty at Pittsburgh Yards, and thank you all for joining.
Thank you. So we want to start off tonight, just letting you guys know that the Nia Building, which a lot of you have visited and some of you have toured, is open. Pittsburgh Yards, as you do know, is one of the greatest developments on the south side portion of Atlanta. It is providing over 60,000 square feet of useful space for entrepreneurs and startups, for office space, as well as space that allows for entrepreneurs to actually purchase on the BeltLine via our shipping container site. This is a opportunity that is unlike any other opportunities on the BeltLine, particularly in the Southwest Atlanta corridor. We do want to encourage you, of those that have not had a chance to tour, please make sure you go to our PittsburghYards.com website to sign up for those events. We are touring on Thursdays, pretty much the whole day. About 4 tours that we are offering on Thursdays, and they generally run about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending upon the scale of the tour. I want to top it off the conversation as I have always done in the last couple of meetings that we've had. We are virtual in our meeting due to the fact that we're currently in a pandemic, and wanted to reassure you all that we at Stream, as well as Pittsburgh Yards, are taking every precaution to make sure that your safety is on the forefront, and hopefully everyone in your family during this time period has been safe. But as it relates to the building, we are following the full CDC recommendations in terms of all of our entry points, bathrooms, open spaces, and we have hand sanitizing locations at all entry points, as well as we have cleaning going on in the building to ensure that the building is appropriately addressed for your protection. We will also be having a service that will be providing even more cleaning for you all, as we are currently pursuing some cleaning services that will enhance to make sure that all those precautions are taken to the utmost. We want to talk about real quick the latest update as it relates to building enhancements. We, in the last week, actually this week, we've had solar panels being installed on the roof line. So this will allow us to basically take advantage of the solar power being generated and leverage that for energy use inside the building. That's been a pretty cool enhancement to the building. I've actually gone up to the rooftop and saw that installation, and that's another event that if you have a tour, you'll be able to see on the terrace level, where that the panels that are being installed on the roof line are actually pretty visible. It's a pretty cool installation. It'll be a great enhancement that will lead to our LEED Silver certification. We'll move on to our invitees that we had on the agenda for the evening. We did invite a couple of members to speak and give you kind of an update on what's been going on around the building, as well as what's going on in the building. One of our first invitees for the evening will be representatives from the Atlanta BeltLine. They will be giving us an update on the Southside Trail in terms of what's been going on. They did give a recent update at their recent quarterly meeting, but I wanted to make sure that they came to our meeting to kind of give us an update as they are touching the Pittsburgh Yards borderline. I think we have on the line with us Miss Whitney Fuller and Miss Hope as well that'll be speaking to that.
Hey, Walter, would you like me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, go ahead and start off if you don't mind.
I will, and I'm joined by my other colleague, Lynette Reed, and now.
Oh, I just see Lynette, okay.
Yeah, she's on. So
Good evening, everybody.
In just a bit, but my name is Whitney Fuller. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for the Atlanta BeltLine Inc. And as Walter said, we've been having a few community meetings and quarterly briefings about construction progress. Particularly on Southside Trail, we had a meeting just last week on December 10th. But construction on the Southside Trail West, just to be reminded, is the portion of the Southside Trail that starts at University Avenue and swoops down and connects in with the Pittsburgh Yards Job Center that we're all meeting about today. If you've been driving on Metropolitan Avenue lately, you've probably noticed construction on the bridge above. Or if you've been on one of the tours that Walter just talked about at the Pittsburgh Yard site, you've probably noticed construction going on the trail as it dips down to meet the job center. I want to go ahead and cover one other high level update that the Atlanta BeltLine has to share with you all and open it up for questions if we have it, is our master planning. So Pittsburgh and the neighbor adjacent to Pittsburgh, Capitol View Manor and Mechanicsville are all a part of the BeltLine planning area. And we're currently in the process of updating the BeltLine sub-area master plans. And these plans were created 10 years ago, almost now, in conjunction with the community. And it's time for us to update those plans to reflect the conditions of what's going on in our neighborhoods. For example, Pittsburgh Yards and other developments as they are happening in your neighborhoods. And the purpose of the master plan is to help guide future growth for vibrant mixed-use neighborhoods by identifying policy goals and recommendations that are related to transit-oriented development, mobility, green space, affordable housing, historic preservation, and arts and culture. And to date, we've completed half of our plans that need to be updated. Specifically, you will be interested in the sub areas 1 and 2 master plan, which encompass almost 24 neighborhoods that go from the West End, the West View, down to Adair Park, covering Capitol View Manor, Pittsburgh neighborhood, Mechanicsville, and sub area 2 continues to go over to Peoplestown neighborhood. So I want to open it up for any questions, comments that you all have about the Southside Trail or the master planning, and I can drop some links in the chat for you to look at after this.
Hey, Whitney, do you want to put a link to, do we have the presentation from last week up on the website?
Yeah, we do.
And the video. So if anybody just off the bat wants to take a look at the video from the meeting, it's super helpful, super informational, but we're still here to answer any of your questions.
I had a question regarding right when you're on the Pittsburgh Yard property and there's that dip in the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the meeting, so I apologize that I didn't catch this. Is that going to be where people can walk? Will it be open where people could walk from Pittsburgh Yards over to the Capitol View area where there's going to be a park? And then there's going to be a bridge going across there? Is that
so there won't be any bridges or structures at this point in time. There's going to be a small like pedestrian. It's not a huge bridge, but it's just a really small bridge that gets us over the pond. But for the most part, it's going to be a level path. You will have to have some slight inclines, but You can come down McDaniel, and right now, if you're at Pittsburgh Yards, there are some metal bollards that are coming to the ground right now. So in that area, you're going to be able to walk right through those and then go walk right down the hill a little bit to Manford Road, and to enter the Capitol View Manor community through that way. So everyone who lives in that area, they can just easily walk out of their house, walk down the hill, and even kind of use it as a shortcut to actually get to, the Pittsburgh neighborhood and any other things that are on near like Pryor Road and down University. So it's just going to be a really helpful connector, because as I mentioned before in many other meetings, the railroad actually kind of cuts off a lot of the neighborhoods, and we're kind of using that pathway to open everything up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any other questions or general comments? I have a question.
All right.
How many of you, Michelle, I heard you say that you were at the meeting last week. How many people knew about that meeting last week for the Southside Trail West? You could just raise your hands. I'll scroll and look. Okay. How many people would like to receive updates from the Atlanta BeltLine direct to your email or your mailing address? I'm looking for hands. And if you are able to put it in the chat, put it in the chat. And if you'd like to follow up with us, I'll put my contact in the chat box. And of course, you can always reach out to Walter and he'll put us in touch if you miss me for some reason. Well, thank you for the time, Walter. I'll stick around if anything comes up. And excuse me, Lynette, did you want to chime in? Is there anything I missed?
No, I think you covered everything. We put the link in the chat just to underscore we're coming out to individual neighborhoods as well who fall within those sub areas in the month of January as well. So please, if we've reached out to several, but if you pass your neighborhood contact along to Whitney, so we can make sure that we come out and do a more detailed run of what's the draft recommendations. Again, the plan is just being adopted for information. There's no land use or zoning changes as a part of the plan. And so I think that's all I have at this time.
Hey, Whitney, and I guess one more thing for me, just I mentioned this in the meeting, but for the pedestrian bridge that will be installed over Metropolitan Parkway for the trail, right now we don't have a date, but one thing we will be working on with the contractor is just a meeting to inform the community about any lane closures or anything that has to happen in order to actually install that bridge.
No, I was trying to get for them to see speaking. Yes, speak.
I'm not sure who that is, but I'll keep going. So just look out for that on our website or social media. That'll be coming in a couple of months, but our contractor is in the planning stages right now to put that together and present it to you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Walter, if you wouldn't mind, I have a couple of pictures that Hope presented from the BeltLine meeting. Can I share it and allow them to talk to those images?
Sure, you should be able to share.
Let me see.
Hello, can you hear me?
Does somebody have a question?
Yes, yeah, we have a comment. Go ahead, tell me you are. Hello.
1 second, because I think we have someone wanted to present something.
Speak. Hello? You should tell them who you are.
So this is a one photo. Hope I had another one to show. Where is this near where we were talking about the underpass?
I'm gonna give me 1 second.
Can you hear? Hello? Be who you are. Don't keep just getting
1 second, whoever that is, please give us 1 second because we do have someone still presenting. We'll give you
Okay,
a second.
okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Let me
Go ahead,
know when
Michelle.
you're ready, Michelle. I was trying to do the annotation so that I could use the pointer.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So this was the first one
Mhm.
where I think to the right is Capitol View Manor and to the left is Pittsburgh Yards.
Yep. So here to the left, that's the McDaniel cut through where the bollards are. And down here, you can see my pointer, that's Manford Road. So they're still working on cutting this down. That particular day, they go, gradually because they do have to haul off some of this dirt. So this was probably at least like 2 weeks ago. And tomorrow I'm gonna be out there again, taking more photos to see where the progress is. But it will come through this way. And just for everybody's information, I am gonna try to work with our design team to come up with some images that illustrate what's going to go on a little bit better. I think one of the things that we would be working on a little bit better in the future is some type of rendering that really gives a better visual of the end product as it is designed and permitted. But this is where anyone who would be coming from university would enter. Sorry, let me clear this out. So this is where this is, and you'll be able to cut through here. So the small bridge,
Okay.
This is going to be a pond for the project. So for the next meeting, I'm going to work with our team because based on the questions that we've been getting, it's super hard to visualize what's going to be the end product with this. But like I said, we hear you because we're getting some of the same questions from a lot of folks.
Okay, thank you. And you're saying a pond with water?
Yeah, so it's going to collect any rainwater. It's collected here and it'll evaporate.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. Thanks, Walter.
Oh, thank you. Good question. Any other Beltline questions? Thanks, Hope. Thanks, Lynette. Thanks, Whitney.
No problem.
Walter, I'll stick around. I know there was someone on the phone that was trying to reach out and I wasn't sure if they were going to address us. So I'll hang out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and if you have any other questions for any of the Beltline members, please put your comments in the chat as well so they can follow up with you. That is a great, excellent segue into our next portion of the agenda to talk about the Engraved brick program along the connection that runs directly into the Beltline. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, and I'll actually just bring back up the same image. So I don't know how to do a pointer like Hope did. So thank you. I'm gonna have to Google how to do that, Hope. I love that.
Oh,
so
at the top, give me one second. At the top, it should say view options. And click on view options and annotate, and you'll be able to use the pointer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So right here where I'm just filling in a blank is where the bricks that if you purchase them now, between now and December 31st, they're on sale for $40. But this area that's in a red box right now, those, you know how the Beltline will have the 3 different posts in the ground for different crosswalks. So where that crosswalk is when you're is where the bricks will be. I'm sorry, is where the second phase of the bricks that are purchased now between next May or June timeframe. So we're scheduling to have that section of the trail, Atlanta and West Point Trail, the bricks installed before the BeltLine's grand opening, if you will. So ideally, we'd like to, we have enough time to have them in the ground before this segment of the trail officially opens. Outside of that, just that they're again on sale, $40 for the installed brick and $15 for the miniature brick. And appreciate everyone that purchased bricks after the BeltLine meeting, and for the BeltLine, you know, allowing us to share. You can purchase them on PittsburghYards.com and go to the community page and scroll down to the story, and you'll see an option to and a link to purchase bricks. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you. Thanks for that update. Moving in along that same vein, in that same area, along that BeltLine corridor, we're gonna ask for another update in relations to the shipping container site from Mr. Tony Pope. How you doing, Mr. Tony? Are you on mute, Mr. Tony?
He must be on.
We can't hear you, Tony. Can you? And you are not on mute.
I'm sending him a message that he's
Yeah,
on
Mr.
mute.
Pope, we can't hear you. You're not on mute.
Oh.
Technical difficulties. well, while he's doing that, I'll just give a.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sorry, now I got to start all over again. I had just finished.
Oh man.
Anyway, this week we got great news. We got an approval and signed off drawings from the city of Atlanta on the placement of the shipping containers. We have started the process of pricing the infrastructure work so that we could build out. I think we now have somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 or 12 pads. It looks like we have gotten financial approval on the guild. So that cohort 1 and cohort 2 are ready to go. We've got a lot of interest going. I think we're having one of the fabricators who has expressed interest in this process is now relocating to Atlanta and opening a warehouse shop up here. So he's coming Tuesday to talk to some of the potential vendors. So we are trying to, over the next 2 weeks, finalize pricing, and then hopefully, man, if I can get some dirt turning, we're going to see some vertical work going and a container park on the BeltLine. So things are moving in the right direction, and everybody is starting to get excited.
Yeah, I think that's exciting for everyone. Everyone's good and ready to hear that. So that's part of the BeltLine and that part of the shipping container site, you know, be activated. I mean, I get a lot of requests about, you know, what that's going to look like. They all hear about it, but they can't see it yet. So it'll be good to see some dirt moving so people can basically enjoy that part of it. Any questions for us in reference to the shipping container site?
Walter, I have a question. Are there any, for Tony, are there any available slots? There's some folks from Triton Yards that are looking for some space options, and
I guess I'd have to say there are 13, I think we have 13 pads now. One of them, Fortress Homes, is moving those boxes that you currently have out there over. So I guess until somebody signs a lease, you've got 12 spaces to go. But I've got claimed, it looks like 10. I think we have 10 people. We picked up about 4 new clients over the last 3 weeks, so it's looking good.
It's like the first 12 that sign a lease will be the ones.
I guess that's a Walter question, because I mean we have been working with 11 people so far,
Okay.
and I think we have literally three spots outside of those 11.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if anyone has interest, they can definitely reach out to me. We can talk about next steps. So yes, I would say about 3 or so spaces that are available, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about our shipping container site?
Can I just clarify what the offer is? And this is Chantel Glenn, part of the Pittsburgh Yards development team, but just to clarify that the spaces that Tony referenced are being offered on a ground lease, and those business owners will be developing their own containers to bring onto the ground that they will be leasing underneath. Just wanted to make sure that was understood, because I know we get a lot of questions about who will be developing them. So yeah, the business owners are taking ownership of the development of those containers.
Thanks for that point of clarity, Chantel. Man, that is a very good incentive for a lot of the entrepreneurs that are looking to have ownership along the BeltLine and Pittsburgh Yards. That yes, you do own the shipping container, and you will have ground lease on the property. As a point of clarity. Any other questions about the shipping container? All right, well, that's a good segue into leasing in the Nia Building. We do have all the spaces that are available. We are about 20-25% leased now. Can you guys hear me?
It's a little fuzzy.
Okay, that's strange. All right, and yeah, I'm getting a notification that my sound is not coming through as clearly as it should. But we do have spaces available. Definitely, if you have not had a chance to tour Pittsburgh Yards, make sure you go to the Pittsburgh Yards website to schedule a tour to see spaces that you would like to have for your business. We have spaces in all three wings, both our north, south, and west wing. We also are opening up the co-working memberships. So those that have applied for co-working memberships, you should have received an email notification reaching out to you, speaking, confirming if you did in fact have interest. And if you replied, you should have always also received an email basically setting up your information for you to attend an intake session that we'll be having on tomorrow. So if you have not responded to the initial email for your initial application request to be part of the co-working membership, definitely check. If you have not received that email requesting feedback, please put it into the chat, and I can follow up with you after the meeting or during the meeting to make sure that if you apply, you are on that list. We are only going to be taking about the first 50 initially. So if you do have interest in the co-working membership, make sure that you respond and reach out as soon as possible. Any questions about that? Good. So with that, we'll talk a little bit about some of the tenants. Ms. Michelle Jones is going to talk about just some of the tenants that have recently moved into the building. We've had a couple kind of interesting tenants that have taken the first step into being part of Pittsburgh Yards. So she was going to give us kind of a brief update on that. And then after that, we'll follow up with just general Q&A and wrap-up questions for questions that you may have and you want to get answered.
Yeah, so last week was exciting. I've only been on the team for a couple of weeks, but we had 5 tenants move in, um, 2 of which are leasing 2 spaces each. We had some activity over the weekend with one of them, had some young people there having a modeling session, kind of modeling etiquette 101. A lot of excitement when photographers come in and different people, project coordinators or graphics people for the sites that the tenants are leasing. A lot of excitement. People want to know more, and we direct them to then sign up for the tours on Thursday. We have Haleen, the Garden Queen, that's going to be joining us soon. And Sucor, some of you know Mary Gay. Of course, she was the first tenant to sign up. We have a security company that's on site that has 2 spaces, and a meditation company looking to come on board, another nonprofit, um, another photographer that's looking to join, youth, a lot of youth and community organizations that would be sharing and bringing, sharing resources with neighboring communities, you know, neighboring people. So yes, a lot of excitement and people moving in here this last week and this, and at the beginning of the year, next year.
This year and next year. Some are trying to move in this week.
That's right, before Christmas or after, right after Christmas. So
Yeah, I see you, Miss Haleen. And with that, we'll move on to our general Q&A session. Does anyone have any questions that you didn't get a chance to get a response to in the earlier part of the meeting, whether that was related to general Pittsburgh Yards info, whether that be BeltLine, whether that be the brick program, shipping container site, or just property management and leasing questions?
there was one question, Walter. You see that in the chat?
I do see that. I will follow. Wait a minute. Hold on. I see a couple of them actually. Someone's asking, will there be a ground? Will there be a grand opening? I think at some point there will be a grand opening. We are potentially looking at doing maybe more of a soft opening at some point, but I think that will be more of a concern, whether depending upon what happens with COVID, whether we do an official ground opening or grand opening. But that won't be in the plans anytime soon. But that'll probably be in the future that we do something like that.
Can I add to that?
Oh, go ahead, Clint. Go ahead.
And I don't know, some may recall that we were, on the fast track to helping, or I should say gathering to plan a big grand opening, which was supposed to be sometime this year. Of course, the year is now gone. Michelle was a part of that group, representing as a Pittsburgh resident. So definitely at some point, we don't have a hard date, as Walter said, but I do want to emphasize that it would definitely, I think, still be driven by a community planning group. So please, 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 just always be on the lookout at pittsburghyards.com for any opportunity to re-engage in the project through that means.
Thank you, Chantel.
Thanks, Chantel. Any other questions?
I think
I
Halene,
think I have one question myself. I'm sorry, who was that? Someone was asking the question?
I think if you have her on mute, I think she might be trying to.
Who was that?
Halene.
Oh, no,
Halene.
she's not on mute. You're not on mute, Miss. You're not on mute, Miss Helene. We just can't hear you. But I do have a question for the BeltLine team, just in terms of timeline. Are we still on track in terms of timeline for the opening of the Southside Trail?
So I think Lynette and Whitney have logged off, but right now we're looking at summertime.
Okay.
To open the trail, or at least to be done with the construction right now. So stay tuned. The summertime we'll be wrapping everything up. At this point in time, we're pretty much halfway done. Soon, a lot of the dirt will stop moving, and we'll be likely starting to install the actual concrete trail sometime around the end of spring. So stay tuned. But right now, that's where we are.
Okay. Thanks, Hope. Any other questions or concerns? Ms. Helene, if you're trying to say something, we cannot hear you, unfortunately. I see you talking, but just can't hear you. Now, what I'll do, Ms. Helene, I see another question popping up. I'll respond to that one. That's one directly. I don't see any other questions. Another is about the shipping container. I'll pass your information on. Take that into account. I think that's it. If there are no other questions, you all. I'm sorry, Adair Park.
Yeah, this is Lawrence
Hey,
Miller. I'm the
Is
president.
that Lawrence?
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Lawrence? Go ahead.
Question I have has to do actually with security in the area of the Southside Trail and the West Side Trail where they come together. There have been quite a few shootings in at least 3 in the last probably 3 weeks. Is it a way that you guys can make sure that there is additional security in this part of the trail when it opens?
Is that you asking BeltLine or you asking Pittsburgh Yards, Lawrence?
BeltLine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to get back to you on that question.
Can somebody hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, because
else is talking.
Okay, we were trying to do it on Zoom, but on Zoom it's saying that I'm on mute, but I'm not. It doesn't appear on my phone that I'm on mute, but somehow I'm not being able to hear. This is Mrs. Helene, Mother Helene, trying to speak. Hold on.
Well, give us one second. Give us 1 second because someone else is speaking right now, and then we'll give you an opportunity to speak.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hope.
All right, no problem. So the BeltLine, the Path Force is staffed by APD. So that would be a question that I would have to kind of get back to you guys on if they will be adding additional staff. Also, just to mention, Southside will still have cameras and it'll be monitored by APD, but whether or not, additional officers will be added, that's a question that I will have to kind of reach out for.
I appreciate that. The reason why it becomes of greater importance is because 3 days ago there was a murder right off the trail, the West Side Trail, near Aileen. So just make sure, just want to ensure that the BeltLine is aware that in the neighborhoods around the South Side Trail and the West Side Trail, that the crime rate, including violent crime, is now increasing.
Well, thanks for that information, Lawrence, although you put our meeting on a pretty somber note. I will add that we will have, and we currently do have security on the property currently. We have 24/7 security on the site on the weekends, and we also have 12-hour overnight security on the property during the week. And as we increase in occupancy, we will hit a 364 security on the property. So we are aware, and we will be making sure that's one of our priorities, to make sure that we have safety protections in place for both the tenants as well as the guests to Pittsburgh Yards.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Aileen. Can you speak now? Can you hear me, Aileen? You're not on mute. Go ahead.
Are you hearing me now?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Haleen Green, the Garden Queen, would like to announce the largest container garden on University Avenue next door to Pittsburgh Yard community, closer to Metropolitan, next to the truck and tire, Metro Truck and Tire. And I'm inviting all the residents, as many as possible, for us to set up a date to meet over at the garden so that we could do a tour of the new garden that has come in to the Pittsburgh Yard community. I have been a long-time member of the University of the Pittsburgh Yard organization, and I don't know, I was hoping that I could show my face, but my phone is not working right. But anyway, those of you who knows me and those that will get acquainted with me, when is the next meeting? Well, can we get a date on the calendar so that we can meet over at the garden?
Aileen, you could reach out to me. I know you're going to be coming by tomorrow, and we could talk further, and or Chantel.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can follow up with either one of us.
Yeah, and so we will get like a list of people who would like to be a part of the community garden. And so this is Michelle speaking, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I will see you tomorrow, and we will set up like a registration form or something so that, you know, we can get names of people that have interest in gardening.
Gotcha. So we definitely will talk on tomorrow. And congratulations on leasing a space inside of Pittsburgh Yards.
Thank you. Thank you. So okay. I am all over the place. All righty.
Sure, in a good way, Miss Aileen.
Yes, definitely. We're going to grow. Do we in light of that, do we have any other questions and or just general announcements for the community tonight?
Somebody typed in that you need some bicycle officers. That might be a BeltLine statement. Agreed. Oh, okay, and it's agreed. Yeah. Safety first, right?
If I'm not mistaken, the Passport officers are actually on bikes. You can see them around all parts of the BeltLine. But like I said, I would definitely have to get some more information from them, whether or not, you know, they will be adding additional officers, because we'll have more ground to cover once the Southside Trail opens.
Thanks again, Hope. Any other questions? I don't think I see anything else in the chat. If that is all that we have, I want to thank you all again for attending the meeting tonight. And I definitely want to thank all of the invited guests for spending your time with us on the last virtual meeting for the year of 2020. I want to wish everyone a wonderful holidays, Merry Christmas, as well as a Happy New Year.
Walter,
Yes.
Tron has a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tron, go ahead, Tron.
Yeah, I think I wanted to piggyback on what the gentleman was saying about the murders and the crime in the neighborhood, and it's really an uptick in violence in the city overall, but the underlying problem really isn't more officers or more patrol, is actually getting to the younger people who are doing the crimes. Like, being honest, there's a lot of gang recruitment in Atlanta right now, and it's not coming from the city, it's coming from like bigger gangs outside of the city. So the underlying problem is reaching the youth before they get to that stage where they're making a decision of going one way or another way. It's like putting something into place, like getting them into business classes or something to deter them from what they're doing, which is just being idle and joining gangs. That's the underlying problem.
And that's a very good point, Tron. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I think Pittsburgh Yards is such a great asset to this part of town, because the businesses that will be moving into Pittsburgh Yards will be able to hire those young individuals to give them the job skills and the employable skills that will provide and give them an alternative to what they are experiencing from, you know, that peer pressure from these outside gangs and these outside entities, where we want them to be more productive citizens in our community. Any other questions, concerns, and or general announcements? Well, again, I don't see anyone else, so I will start my conclusion again. Just want to thank everybody else. Thanks everyone for attending the meeting again tonight. I want to appreciate you all spending your time with us, and also I want to thank you for your patience with the Pittsburgh Yards project. We've come a long way. I think we are ending the year on a right note. We will have another meeting next month in January. It will be the same time at the same portion of the week, the third Thursday of the month in January. I don't have the date in front of me, but stay tuned. For those of you that are receiving email notifications, you should receive email notifications for our next upcoming meeting. And as previously stated, if you have any questions or concerns about information as it relates to Pittsburgh Yards, go to the Pittsburgh Yards website. Also, I will put my contact information in the chat, so if you have any questions or concerns that you want to reach out to me directly, you can do that as well. Other than that, Michelle, do you have anything you want to say before we close out, or Chantel?
No, thank everyone for joining, and look forward to you visiting and being a part of Pittsburgh Yards.
See you next year.
Happy New Year, all.
Happy holidays,
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye.